Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jenny will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast. It's me, the direct sales dom, your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. I am here today. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited to share Erica Ross-Krieger with you guys because I've known Erica for a little less than a year now. I had the opportunity to work with her on a project to help her get her podcast launch in 2020. And during the course of that conversation, I got to learn a little bit about what she does, and I knew I had to share her with you guys, my loyal, loving BDSM crew. Let me tell you about a little bit about Erica. Erica Ross-Krieger is a nationally acclaimed business and success mindset coach. She's the author of the inspirational book, 7 Sacred Attitudes, How to Live in the Richness of the Moment. And she is an EFT expert. For those of you who don't know what EFT is, it's tapping. So you might have heard of that. Now, just so you guys know, 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs hire Erica to help them identify and clear mindset blocks that are keeping them from new levels of wealth. The founder of New Attitudes Corporation, Erica works with entrepreneurs throughout the world, inspiring them to come to life more fully and helping them attain new levels of wealth as they define it. Erica blends her extensive professional background with her personal life experiences to offer powerful and transformative programs, services, products, and her Entrepreneurs Café podcast, rich with multi-faceted wisdom. And in doing so, her work fosters a sense of well-being for her clients, readers, and podcast listeners worldwide. Erica lives in Northern California with her husband, Steve, and a garden of lavender that soothes her soul. Oh, I love that so much, Erica. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jenny. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are welcome. Thank you for gifting your time to share your expertise with us. Man, let me tell you, last year we got to work together. I don't know, I think it was maybe 6 weeks or something we worked together in getting your podcast launch. And I loved every conversation we had. I mean, just getting to know who you are as a human being. And then I found out what you do. I was enamored, completely enamored with you. And so when I had the opportunity to work with you then in late 2020 for one of your programs, it was transformative. And here's what's crazy. Guys, I just want you to know, just because you're a coach doesn't mean you're perfect, because I didn't fully finish her program, and yet I still got benefits from it.
And I'll remind your people that are listening that is, you are not the only one who's ever said that people that don't even finish it get results. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I know that when I do it again, because this is not going to be the one and only time I ever do your program, Erica, because it's worth it. And I could see doing that again on an annual basis, just to grow and take myself to that next level. So knowing what you do now, let's share a little bit. For people, I alluded to the fact that one of the things that you are an expert with is tapping, or what's the EFT method. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into the really fun stuff with you. Okay.
And so that and they know that one of the 4 or 5 key components of that program, and a key component of all of my work, is EFT. It's not all of it, but it is a key component. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, otherwise known as tapping. And a short version of a long story is that most people don't realize how big of an impact that chronic stress has on their lives. And they also don't realize that some of the things that are causing them that stress are the 6 inches between their ears with thoughts that they might be having, right? So
Hmm.
EFT is a scientifically proven system to rewire the brain by actually sending calming signals to the amygdala, which is the stress center of the brain, and it releases limitations from negative experiences, from negative emotions, from negative thoughts, and much more that all hold us back from creating the life that we want, the wealth that we want, the success that we want. Now, it's based on a system of Chinese medicine, which goes back 5,000 years. And in that system, in the principles of that system, imagine there are 12 what are called meridians or lines of energy in the body. And acupuncture and acupressure works by actually activating those 12 meridians wherever blockages are detected. Well, what happens is in tapping, we use 2 fingers. We gently tap on key points on the face and torso, gently 5 to 7 times, and activate the same points that are used in acupressure and acupuncture to release blocks and release energy, all while saying things. Now, the power of this is you don't have to go banging on your face or banging on your torso. It's very light, but you are releasing blocks in the way of you creating more success.
Yeah, I got to tell you. So Erica's not the first EFT practitioner that I met. The very first one that I ever met when I went through the process with her, it was not around the same topic that Erica covers. The tapping that I did with this other EFT coach was more of a personal thing, and it was an amazing transformation that happened in me. It brought something to mind, to light, that I did not realize about myself, that really helped me overcome that thought. And in overcoming that belief about myself, my whole business ended up transforming, because I no longer had that piece holding that subconscious thing holding me back. So then when I started tapping with you, Erica, that your topic of choice is the money mindset, right?
Yep.
So what got you into the money mindset topic as your topic of choice for tapping, for releasing blocks?
Well, I put it this way. There is no other area from my perspective. Well, maybe that's not true. We could probably get into equal juicy areas by focusing in on relationships, sex, politics, Lord knows what. But money, pretty universally, opens up a whole Pandora's box, right? And
Mm,
it's sort of the entry door into my arena, and we uncover a lot of other things. But when I bring up the topic of money to someone, and we talk about, what were some of the money practices when you were a kid? What are some of your beliefs about what you can achieve and what you can't? What are your beliefs around money? It's just ripe for a lot of emotion. And when it's ripe for a lot of emotion, then it's a good for an EFT topic. Now, in terms of my own self, back in 2008, when there was the um, market crash, if you will, but also the real estate
mhm.
crash. Um, I happened to, at that point with my husband, um, we'll say lose lots of money and made a major shift in our $1 million plus portfolio. And we really had to take a look at things and recoup, and we're able to do so, I will say, and some within a 3-year window, which was pretty miraculous given what we lost. During all that period, what I realized I was using a lot was tapping, and I'd been introduced to um, the tapping into wealth focus by a woman named Margaret Lynch Rainier, who really was a pioneer in using wealth and EFT money together. And I got certified in her stuff. And by using that constantly, it really helped me push aside my beliefs in what was possible. And so I would say, long-winded answer to, to your questions.
Hmm.
That's how I like wove the two together. But EFT, I was introduced to prior to that. And I don't,
Oh,
when I put the two together and started developing the 10-day program, which you were part of, I realized that that is exactly what I went through myself. So I actually do this every year. Just so you know, the 10-day
yeah.
that you went through, I put my
Yeah.
own self through the same thing every year.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, do you do that with a different coach, or you just do your own process with yourself, or how do you do that? Because I know me personally, I cannot coach myself.
You can't, and you can't know I do have a coach. And he's
Awesome. That
an EFT expert as well.
well, that would make perfect sense then,
Yeah.
right? Walking you through that process.
Yep.
So yeah, so you brought up the money, the 10-day money mindset program. And my experience with that was, it was quite eye-opening for me, because I thought that I had an abundance mindset until I got to about day 5, and then I went, oh, apparently no, I have blocks. you know and so going through that process, like I said, I made it through, I think, day 5 or day 6. I made it most of the way through, 50-60% of the way through the process, and then I hit a point where I went, I just could not conceptualize what the topic of that day was. And I don't want to give anything away,
Sure,
right? But
sure.
I found my block, right? So, but what was interesting was, until I hit that stopping point for me, where I just was like, I don't know. I don't know about that, right? What what came up for me in those previous days was the fact that I went, oh, it had never occurred to me that this particular topic was possible, right?
Yep.
That doing something like that, I had always associated that number with a different time frame,
Yep. And so
right?
I'll just say one thing to that. And it has to do with, if I had any of your listeners put down on paper right now their financial goal for 2021, and everybody writes that down. And then I said, perfect. Now, say the sentence, um, and fill in the blanks, uh, as if it were the end of 2021. I made X amount of money this year. Easily made this amount of money this year. How true would that be on a scale of 1 to 10? Then I would say to you, go ahead and 5 times that amount and put it down. And then say the sentence, I easily made that amount.
Mhm.
When I push you to that amount, more than likely all your blocks are going to come up. And I do it on purpose, because those blocks that come up when you look at the 5-time amount are actually there already.
Oh, yeah.
Even for the current amount. But
Ah.
people don't see it. So we're shining a light on something that really is already there. The beliefs of, and let's say your people are in direct sales, right? The beliefs
Yeah.
of, uh, I'm not uh, I'm not good enough. I haven't worked hard enough. I'll never be like the top leaders in the company. I'm not good at presenting my stuff to uh, new prospects. Um, it's
I'm
going to
not
be
a
too I'm
salesperson.
not a salesperson. It's
Yeah.
too hard to lead a big team. Uh, all of that stuff, it's there no matter what number you put down, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about what happens in the 10-day and what goes on, a lot of people don't realize it, but in the, and it is brain science. So the part of the brain that's the stress part of the brain, the amygdala part of the brain, is pretty much controlled by what an amazing man whose name is Shirzad Chamine, who wrote an incredible book called Positive Intelligence, or PQ, talks about what he calls saboteurs. Rick Carson, who wrote a book called Taming Your Gremlin, calls calls it the gremlin. It's controlled by that part of the brain has all the chatter of the gremlin or the saboteurs. And they're the ones that make you think, oh, I have to give up now. I need to procrastinate on this thing. I whatever that nasty talk is for you. But there's also, and there's a lot of gray matter built up apart around that part of the brain because it's got so much practice. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, what we're doing with the tapping in the program is we're not only reducing the charge of that area, but we're building the muscle on the other part of the brain, which is the part when we free things up and we realize that there is a deep inner sage in us. There is what I'll call your wealth sage. And we
Mm.
can't activate our inner wealth sage, our belief in really what's possible, when we're listening to that other chatter, when that's
Mm.
active. So we're simultaneously reducing one and building the muscle of what's possible so you can activate that sage.
Oh, that makes so much sense to me because starting with the first piece of that, which is when you ask someone to 5x their number and all of a sudden every block shows up, right? I mean, I imagine if anybody had paused the episode right at that moment and went and wrote down the sentence just like you said and then 5x'd it, there was an initial gut reaction. There was a thought that popped up or three thoughts that popped up or started sweating or like something happened to you when you thought of 5xing. Because I know for me, even I went,
That
I'm
gulp.
not sure that I can do that. Like there was even a piece of that for me. So again, there's this thing where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally abundance mindseted until I go, I want to, I easily made, let's say $500,000 this year. Mm. you
And
know,
what's what we call the tail ender to that? So the thing that immediately popped up, let's say the sentence was, I easily made 500,000 this year, and the tail ender to it is, yeah, sure I did, or there's no way that happened, or whatever the tail ender is that you added to that. That's where we want to tune in.
right. Yeah. So for me, it's like, I'm not sure about that. Right. It's, at least I'm not going bullshit or not or psych or anything like that. Like complete opposite. Like I feel like there's still like the door kind of opened, but it's like a teeny tiny little crack. Like I'm not sure about that. Like, you know,
No, and
and again, so
I'm not saying that everybody needs to 5x their income. Don't hear
right.
that, I hope. You know what wealth is to you is what wealth is to you, and it doesn't
Yeah.
only include money, right? It includes all the riches of our lives, and that's why I wrote the book I wrote, The Richness of the Moment. It includes the beauty of the outdoors. It includes your health. It includes your love for your kids. It includes all of that, and there's a money component. And if I want to lift the lid on more wealth coming in, it is really more than mindset. It involves the body as well. So that is why during the program, we pull in the somatic aspect of things, which I don't want to give away either, but we do
Right.
involve the body as well, because it is
Yeah.
more than just a mindset thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And by incorporating all those different pieces, even just in the few days that I went through it, it did open things up. And what was really cool was some of the other riches that started showing up in my life at the same time. As one of the things that came up during that 10-day thing was the fact that I got connected to Jack Canfield and now he's going to be on my summit in March. Like
Yay!
I attribute all of that to me going, you know what? Why am I holding myself back? I'm just going to go freaking ask him.
Yay. And did you
And
know Jack Canfield's a big tapper? Oh, yeah. He
no.
did a book with Pamela Bruner, who was one of my mentors as well. And they did a book on tapping into success. And I don't know the exact title of it. I've got it on the other side of the room, but
Yeah.
was one of the first ones to also talk about it. So you'll
Ooh,
have a common ground to talk about.
that's awesome. Oh, I might have now I got to go get that Jack Canfield book as if my library over there
It's
of,
enough.
is not enough. For those of you who are listening, Erica and I are right now, we have the Zoom video open, and I showed her my library on the desk behind me. That's, like I think I've got like 4 or 5 Jack Canfield books in that stack over there. And I still can't get enough of the guy. So super, that's really cool to know that he's also big into tapping. So, it doesn't surprise me, right? We'll just say that it doesn't surprise me given his level of success, given what he's created in this world. It doesn't shock me that tapping is something that he has tapped into as a resource to help him get to that point where he can make such an impact, a positive impact on so many different lives.
Right. And
So
that
in
that sentence you just said, that's the key to all of it, right? It's the impact we're making on others' lives.
right. And oh God, exactly. Because I think that, as somebody in the business world, when you focus too much on the outcome, which is typically for us our income that we're focused on, right? We're focused on the outcome, we're focused on the income instead of focusing on what we're doing for the world and how what that impact is that we're having. What is that ripple effect? When we're focused on the financials, that's when sales feels gross. When we're focused on the financials, that's when we're focused on sometimes the wrong part of financials. We're focused on how much debt we're in instead of how much we have. We're focused on all the wrong things. But when you focus on and pay attention to the impact, right? The impact that you are having in the world with your service, with your product, right? Then that begins to change everything. That's when your business becomes a mission instead of a financial must, right? Because that's why so many people do get into network marketing and direct sales, is because they're like, I need a second income. I need a second income, or maybe it's their third income, who knows?
Right.
But it's, I need this additional income instead of going, oh, I could utilize this to make an impact on the world. And that's how you take that business and turn it into a mission. That's your why, that's your purpose. That's how you know, get out of bed and do what you're supposed to, or pick up the phone even when you don't feel like it. So, in doing this, now you, Erica, have, speaking of direct sales and network marketing, you have your own direct sales and network marketing business, and you've utilized your money mindset techniques with that. What are some of the things you've been able to incorporate into your network marketing business from the tapping world? And then also vice versa. What have you been able to take from network marketing and put it into your financial tapping coaching?
I'll do the second part of that question first. I have two revenue streams, two network marketing companies that I support and that support me. And
Mhm.
they're both two different product lines that I use and that have made a major difference in my life. Um, and I don't necessarily need to say what they are, but they're
Right.
products. And
Yeah.
when they made that much difference for me, I just had to share them. So it wasn't like I said, okay, I'm going to have to pull in this other revenue stream, or
Mm.
what it was. I have got to share this with other people. And I'm a big
Right.
multi-revenue stream person anyway. So it was like, why not? Right. So
Yeah.
there's that aspect of it. And the other was, it became really clear early on with it, since I wasn't growing those businesses to be my primary business, that I could slack off on them if I wanted. But then I wouldn't be sharing it with people, and then I wouldn't be getting as much revenue for it. So I actually applied tapping to some of the blocks that I had around it. Like, I can't just bring this up with clients, right? Because I have coaching clients around money mindset stuff. So how was I going to introduce to them? Was it ethical for me to introduce to them the idea of this network marketing stream? And I had to tap through that until I got to a point where I could say this and get to a point in our coaching contract around other things that we were dealing with and
Sure.
say, and I'm going to introduce you to something you can say yes or no to, but I would be remiss if I didn't, whether it was because the product itself would be something that served them and that was my angle to present it, or I thought it also would be a great revenue stream and the product would be good for them. So I had to tap through some of my own issues around, did I want to present it to current clients? So that, and I use tapping to do that.
That's awesome. So is that something that you still tap through, or have you basically gotten to the point where you're like, oh yeah, now that block is gone, I'm good to go? Is tapping something that fixes a mindset forever, or is it something that does better with repeated,
Tapping is
regular, consistent use?
tapping's mental tooth floss. Let's do that. You don't want to stop
Okay.
flossing your teeth. Yeah, I tap every day. So whatever's up for the day, what I do it in the morning, I do it at night before bed. I do it sometimes if I wake up in the night with insomnia to get back to sleep. I mean, it'll help with that as well. It actually has cleared
Wow.
insomnia, so I don't, but I will at any point in time when it's become such a tool I grab it out of my toolkit all the time, but it is an ongoing process because every time we achieve new levels of something, either the same blocks are going to come back up in another form. That sneaky little gremlin or saboteur is going to show its head up some way, or it's going to be this different version of the same block that comes up, or a slightly different nuance of it. It's like peeling layers of an onion. I bet you when
Mm.
you talk to Jack Canfield, he still uses tapping.
Oh, yeah. I'll ask him if I remember to when I talk to him next week, because I'm actually talking to him in about 10 days. So I'm so excited.
That is
Um,
exciting.
oh gosh. And so anyway, so going through that tapping process, I mean, it's, and I do have to say that when I asked you the question, does tapping fix things forever? I gotta admit, I know the answer to that. I know that it's a resource that you want to use over and over and over again. Like you said, you don't stop flossing your teeth after one time, right? You keep doing it because there are things that keep coming up, right? And I know this to be true because the first time I ever heard about tapping or was introduced to it, what one of my very best friends has been through a tapping coach, and she's actually the one who introduced me to the first tapping coach that I met. And I remember one time she and I were having a pretty intense conversation about something that was going on in her life, and she was starting to get upset, and so she started doing the some of the tapping stuff, and I was like, what what are you doing?
There you are
Like, what's
tapping on your face, right? I'm
what
tapping on
what
my
what
chin.
what's this? Yeah, she was like tapping around in different places, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I was so confused because she gave me no warning at all. But that's how much into how helpful tapping was for her, that she did it unconsciously.
Oh,
She just
absolutely. Yep.
started, because she had been doing it for so long. It was something that she just started doing. And I was like, I had never seen her do it because most people are not tapping in front of other people. Most people are tapping, like most people don't meditate in front of others.
Except there is an unconscious thing. Do have to say that if you catch people every once in a while, either in a meeting and somebody will be now I'm going to try to describe this to your listeners because they can't see us. They'll be
Uh-huh.
sitting with their hand on their chin, and the fingers that they're using are actually touching an acupressure point, one of the points that we tap on. So they are applying pressure to that place and they don't even realize it. The same is true with little kids, with infants when they're tired and I can't grab my ear, but I'll tell your listeners what I'm doing. So when infants are tired and fussy, a lot of times and they're crying, they don't even realize it. Or toddlers, they'll pinch their ears between their
Yeah.
fingers, and they'll start massaging their ears, and those are actually acupressure points that give soothing. And so we do things without even realizing it. Sometimes people have an itch or they'll rub under their eye, and it's a
I do all the time.
yeah, well, guess what? I don't know how your stomach is, but those are meridian points directly to the stomach. So it can soothe stomach acid if I'm anxious about something. So there's a
Interesting.
lot more to this than meets the eye, so to speak, meets the fingertips, so to speak. But it's important stuff. It's good stuff.
That is absolutely fascinating because, yeah, now that you say that, the number of meetings I've been in, even now, especially with so many of them being on Zoom, being the ADD human being that I am, if I'm in a room with 25, 40 other people and my brain has had its limit with whatever topics being discussed and I'm not the one running the meeting, I am sometimes scrolling through all those other faces just to see what's going on people's cameras. And the number of people I see sitting there like this with, a couple fingers on their chin in thought,
Or to the side of
or
it.
their hand, their fingers on their temple, just sitting there like that. I don't see many people doing it on the upper lip as much, but on the chin and on the temple, you see all the time. And listener, now that you've heard us talk about it, you're going to see people do it all the time. You're going to start noticing it all the time.
Unless while you're listening, you're doing it yourself, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, for sure. So, Erica, with all of this, we're talking about tapping, we're talking about money mindset, we're talking about the fact that I've been through your program before and will be doing it again this year because it's something that, like I said, created benefits for me, even though I didn't complete it because I recognize that, oh, I've got a block there, right? But I know that this time I'm going to be able to make it further, if not all the way through, because, now I know that that block is there. I'm ready for it. And I'm ready to, to figure out, okay, how can I push past that? Knowing that it's there and moving into the next level. My goal is to finish it this time, you know, get it done. So that way, I want the benefits of this. I want to be having this, the benefits of this. Cause like I said, man, just from doing this for 5 days and I got Jack Canfield. Imagine if I did all 10 days. Whew, what would happen in my life then? My gosh, people. So I wanted to let everybody know that you do actually, we're releasing this as a bonus episode because when you told me you had this thing coming up, I didn't want any of my listeners to miss out on this opportunity, hear us talk about this, and then realize, shoot, it's too late. So, Erica, you've got a masterclass coming up where you're going to be doing it's 90 minutes. Is that right?
It's 75, so
75.
an
Oh,
hour and 15 minutes.
perfect. So, an hour and 15-minute masterclass on tapping
Yep.
in order to let people know this tapping into wealth thing, give people the beginnings of all of this. And what's the investment for the masterclass?
No, the master class is free, and it's absolutely free. And the main purpose of it, when people register for it, they actually will watch a 19-minute video that I put together even before they come. That is an introduction to tapping, so that when they show up, they're sort of ready to roll. And in it, we're going to identify what maybe one of your key blocks is, either in your network marketing business or elsewhere financially. And that's what we'll do in those 75 minutes.
Oh, imagine if you could figure out, guys, in 75 minutes, what's been holding you back in your business. And I don't care, even if you're at the top of your business right now and you're listening to this, you know that even if you're the number one person in your company, you could be doing more. There's something else that was holding you back because all of us have something there. There's nobody who's perfect. Imagine if in 75 minutes you could figure that block out. I mean, that could be huge. So, guys, as long as it is not yet February 11th, as long as it's not yet February 11th, what I want you to do, go jump into the show notes. You guys know how this works. As long as you're not driving, click on the episode, scroll up, you'll see the link to her masterclass in the show notes. Make sure you click on that and go register for the masterclass. Now, let's say it's after February 11th, but we're still in February. You have another event coming up. Is that right?
That is right. That's the 10-day, and the 10-day money mindset makeover starts on the 15th of February. So that is a paid program. And the
Mhm.
investment level for that is
Yeah.
$397. And it is and a lot of people will hit their blocks when they hear 10 days. Oh my God, 10 days. I'm asking you for an investment of 20 minutes a day, because consistently over time, that's how we find change happens. The foundation of the change for 10 business days, it actually spans a little longer, but it's 10 business days that you're going to be doing something every single day for 10 days. And as Jenny said, she didn't want to spoil what it was, and I don't either, but it is a game, if you will. And the reason for it being a game, if you will, is that you put aside a lot of the beliefs that something has to be hard in order to learn it well, and you start playing. And the way we play a game is the way we do life. And exactly what comes up in the game is exactly what comes up in life. The same blocks you hit, the same issues you hit, all the same things are going to be magnified in the game. And what happens as a result of the 10 days is your belief in what's possible goes through the roof. There's no question. Your belief in what's possible goes through the roof. And whatever through the roof means for you. If it means your belief that you can reach out to Jack Canfield, then that's what it'll be. If it means your belief in 5Xing your business, then that's what it'll be. But one way or another, your belief in what's possible will increase.
I definitely have to agree. The 10-day your 10-day money mindset makeover, when I did it before, it was a lot of fun. And I was really disappointed, in when I hit the block. Not that it was your fault at all, just disappointed that I hit that. And I was like, man, but I just, sometimes you get to a part of a game where let's use Monopoly as an example, right? Money. There comes a point in Monopoly where like, I just can't do this anymore. Because Monopoly games can go on for days sometimes.
That's right.
There just comes a point where it's fun, but then when you hit that block, you're like, oh, if you hit the block, hopefully you guys won't. I'm really hoping you guys learn from me, shorten your learning curve, recognize the block earlier than I did, and go through and push through it and do it anyway. Feel the fear, because there is some fear when you hit that block. You're like, oh, I don't know if I can, whatever it is that comes up for you. For me, it was, I could not imagine at that point in time the number that was associated with the time frame and and what we do in the game for that. And just, I couldn't come up with an answer for it, and that's, but I didn't push myself too much further. And now I'm like, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to figure it out, because there's got to be something there that would answer that question.
Plus, anybody that does in the course can also reach out to me. And that's another thing for all of us. I'm going to say all of us, is to realize that we're not in it alone. Life in general, we're just not in it alone. And we hit a block. If we give name to it and we reach out to someone, they might be able to help us through that. And so if you play again, Jenny, you're going to reach out to me.
I will. That's good to know, because it didn't even occur to me to reach out to you and say, I can't do this, right? Because how often do we feel comfortable with telling someone that we can't do something, right? And so the idea of even reaching out to you didn't even occur to me. And so, but now I know this time I'm going to be like, I'm reaching out to Erica. I'm not letting myself get stopped this time, because, I stopped myself, right? My gremlin, my saboteur was me. Something in me stopped me. So it's like, well, if me is stopping me, then I got to get someone else involved, right? If that's just how life works. If I'm stopping me, I got to get someone else. If I'm saying mean things to myself, I got to get someone else who's going to help build me up again, right? Take me through that process. And I think that's a brilliant thing for people to know, that they've got the support, that this isn't just going to be some, oh, see you for 10 days and then peace out. Because I can tell you guys, I still obviously have maintained a relationship with Erica past our 10-day program, even though I didn't finish it.
Boy, that let's shut that saboteur up.
Right?
Let's just talk about the 5 incredible days that you did finish.
Right, exactly. So it's understanding that we don't have to beat ourselves up over these things, right? And and knowing that, okay, now I'm gonna do it again, right? And how often does that come up in network marketing? My gosh, that whole idea of, we did something that stopped ourselves. We procrastinated too long on inviting somebody to an event, or we only let ourselves invite two people to that Facebook party, or whatever that thing was that we told ourselves in our head and blocked ourselves. But guess what? There's always more opportunity with network marketing and direct sales to go to that next thing.
That's right. And, and if you've got a really strong upline, you can always reach out to your upline as well, or even your sideline, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Or a coach.
or your coach.
Or your coach. Reach out to your coach. Why not? You have access to one, reach out and say, "Hey, I'm having some struggles. I could use some help." Because my guess is your coach isn't going to say no. So it's just a matter of recognizing that. But you've got to recognize that before you can do anything. It's like the 12-step program. You've got to recognize you've got a problem before you can treat the problem, right? The same is true in your business. You've got to recognize where that is. So for you guys, if which I know every one of you is going, "Yep, I know I've got some blocks." Check out the masterclass. Give it a try if you can make it to that. If it's already past February 11th by the time you're listening to this, then go check out the 10-day money makeover, guys. I'm going to be in it. Okay. Erica, I'm committing to you now. I'm going to be in the money makeover. I'm in.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm realizing with my summit coming up in March, I cannot be letting my blocks stop me because that's holding me back.
Yep.
That's holding me back, and which is holding back my impact on the community. And I can't let myself do that.
We need you, Jenny. We need you in the world. So let's get you block
Yeah.
free.
Yes.
Yay!
I love it. Absolutely. So guys, if you want to do this with me, do it with me. Come do this wonderful money makeover with me. I would love to see you guys in the group with me and Erica going through this process, and we'll support each other through it. And that way you don't just have Erica to reach out to, you've got me to reach out to and say, "Hey, I'm feeling blocked." Great. Let's see what we can, do around this. I'll jump on and tap with you. We'll tap together if that's what you have to do, but we'll make it happen, guys. So
Jenny, can you also put a link into the show notes for people to get my free toolkit, the
oh
Entrepreneur's
yeah.
Toolkit? And the reason for that is if once they do that, they'll also be receiving I do maybe twice a month newsletters with other mindset tips in it. But if they have to miss the February round, then they'll
Mm-hmm.
hear about future rounds. There'll probably be one in October as well. They'll hear about that by getting the toolkit. So if you want to stick that.
I will. Absolutely. That's a great idea. Thank you so much for letting everybody have access to your toolkit too, because I know that is some pretty cool stuff that you've got in there. So guys, you know how this works. As long as you're not driving, pull up the episode on your phone, scroll up to the show notes and click the link for the toolkit. You'll see it there. You can't miss it. It's pretty obvious. So we'll have the toolkit. We'll have the link to the Money Makeover Challenge. So you can go sign up for that if you're wanting to do that with me in February. And now, Erica, if they aren't able to sign up, will there be a button on the Money Makeover page where they can say, let me know for future events or anything, just in case somebody clicks this after February?
Let's see. I'm not sure what will come up on that. I'm going to have to talk to my tech person, but I'm sure we'll
Sure.
find a way. Minimally, if they get the toolkit, that would
Right.
probably be the best way. Would be to get the
Okay.
toolkit, and then they'll be
Perfect. All right, guys. So if you're realizing that, shoot, I already missed it. They already started the 10-day challenge, or it's already over by now because I'm listening to this in March or sometime later in 2021 or after. Go grab Erica's toolkit, because that will let you know. That'll get you signed up so that way you can be informed of the future money makeover challenges that are coming. Money makeovers. I shouldn't say challenges. Money makeovers that are coming your way and available for you to sign up. So thank you so much, Erica, once again for coming and sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and this wonderful resource with everybody. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was just a pleasure to be here, and hello and hi, and thanks for listening to all your listeners. And Jenny, to be continued. I'll play with you in February.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And guys, when I bring Erica back afterwards, we're going to talk about all of the results that came up, because I want you guys to know if you weren't able to make it, or if you're wanting to listen to an update, I'm going to pretend like I'm moving us into the future right now, Erica, that it's already 2022 and somebody's going back and listening to these episodes and they're going to hear the awesome results that I've already gotten from being a part of this. So I thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, BDSM crew, you know how this goes. You got to make sure you stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.